Now that Apple finally released their MagSafe Battery Pack for iPhone 12s, is it the better choice compared to Anker's PowerCore Magnetic 5K, even though it costs $55 more? Of course, it's actually MagSafe, right? Well, not so fast. In my detailed testing, I found big differences, including two things that I haven't heard anybody mention yet on the internet, one of which could make or break the purchasing decision of about 60% of you. Both of these have their pluses and their minuses, but if you watch through this video, I will help you make the correct choice of which one you should buy, as well as if you should upgrade to Apple's MagSafe Pack if you already own a different one. Since I already mentioned prices, let's start out with that. Apple's comes in at $99 and Anker's has an MSRP of just under half of that. I purchased mine for about 45 bucks on Amazon. But now that Apple's is out, I would bet that the price will drop even lower depending on when you're watching this video. So you can check out the prices using the link in the video description. As far as size, Apple's MagSafe Pack takes the win. Footprint wise, Anker's is slightly smaller, but it's also thicker and heavier. And looking at pictures online, it really is hard to tell, but putting them side by side, you can see that Anker's is about 45% thicker than Apple's. Weight-wise, Anker's isn't that much heavier, coming in at about 17% more, but we definitely have a bigger difference comfort-wise because Anker's is more boxy. While the edges are rounded, they're not as curved as Apple's, which means it digs into your hand more when you're holding it. I wouldn't say that it's so bad that it's a deal breaker like I had with my big gray charger, but it's definitely worth considering. Both use hard plastic for their shells, but Anker's is a bit more grippy, which along with its boxy design helps it stay more secure in your hand. On the magnet side, Anker doesn't change its material, where Apple added a silicone pad which improves grip to the phone. That, along with the slightly stronger magnets, means that the Apple Pack stays more securely attached to your phone. It's not a massive difference, as the MagSafe Pack can still easily be twisted and popped off, but it is an improvement. Overall, Apple's design is sleeker and more simple. There is a single LED light that turns on when something is happening, sometimes when it's not actually even charging, whereas Anker's has 4 lights for showing you the capacity and 1 more to show you the status, like if it's on, if it's charging or charging something, and if the device isn't properly working. A huge benefit with Apple's Pack is the fact that you don't have to press a power button first to make sure that it's on to charge your phone. In fact, there is no power button, it just turns on automatically when you attach it and it transfers data to your phone. Because of this, it's also able to show you how much it's charged in your battery widget and if it's actively being charged or charging your phone. With that, the phone can also choose to stop the charge if it needs to, and unfortunately, at this time, there is one use case where it flat out won't charge your phone, and to me, it is really frustrating because that is one time where I really want a portable battery pack to keep my battery topped off. But Apple's Pack does not do that, and that is when you are gaming, which is one task which really drains your battery. I started off using a fully charged iPhone 12 that had optimized charging turned off, and my MagSafe battery pack was at 50%, and I played Call of Duty Mobile for 30 minutes, and during that time, my iPhone's battery dropped to 90%. And if you know how iPhones work, they show 100% for way longer than other ones, so that is exaggerated. During that time, the MagSafe battery pack wasn't used at all to keep the phone charged, which is what many people say is the point of these kind of wireless charging packs. After that, I played another 30 minutes using Anker's pack, and during that time, I didn't lose any of the charge on my iPhone 12 and ended with the same amount that it started with. So it was basically drawing power from the wireless charger and not the phone itself, which is what I wanted. This same thing could also apply to other scenarios that drain your battery a lot, like photo, video editing, and other tasks as well. Now, I understand that Apple may not want the heat from the phone to be added to the heat from the battery pack, but many people, including myself, plug in our phones into wall power when we're gaming, and that also heats up our phones and can even cause screen dimming because of heat. And when Anker's was powering my phone and I was gaming, I didn't have an issue and the screen didn't dim any, it was just set to its 80%. So if you're a gamer and you want to draw power from a pack, the Anker seems to be a lot more flexible. I will be researching this issue much more in my detailed full review, so click that subscribe button down below if you guys want to see that, and with that you can help us reach our goal of 1 million subscribers before the end of the year. We would greatly appreciate it. Now let's get into the charging speed and capacity, where we have some massive differences. Right out of the gate, Anker's pack is rated at a standard 5,000 milliamp hours, whereas Apple shows a measly 1,460 360, but that doesn't tell the whole story. Apple is doing something very unique, and that is using batteries that have a voltage of 7.62 compared to 3.6 in Anker's and pretty much every other battery bank. If we do the math, the equivalent milliamp hours at 3.6 volts would be 2,920. Much better than 1460, but still less than 60% of the Anker's capacity. But we also have to factor in charging and circuitry efficiency, which is where my detailed real-world testing comes in. I personally was super excited about Apple coming out with their own MagSafe pack because of much faster charging than regular Qi charging, and this one is rated at 15 watts compared to only 5 with Anker's, and it can provide close to that if you're using it for pass-through wireless charging. Now you actually get about 9.5 usable watts of wireless charging to the iPhone's battery, which is slower than 12.5 with Apple's dedicated puck, but that's still much faster than Anker's 5 watts of pass-through charging, so your iPhone will charge about twice as fast if you're using it as a wireless charging base. But unfortunately, if you are using it on the go without being plugged into the wall, it will also only provide 5 watts just like Anker's, which ruins the biggest reason why I personally wanted a genuine MagSafe pack from Apple. Now I was still a bit optimistic because Apple's higher voltage and efficient coil and circuitry could mean that we might still get faster speeds and better efficiency, so let's go ahead and see just how much charge this thing can provide compared to Anker's cheaper solution. I tested with a practically new iPhone 12 and started with it fully dead. Apple's pack took 3.5 minutes to turn the phone on, which seemed good, but Anker's did so faster at 3 minutes. After 15 minutes, my iPhone 12 reached 9% charge where Anker's reached 10%, and after 30 minutes, MagSafe was still 1% behind at 18% compared to 19%. Skipping to the 1 hour mark, Apple's pack got us to a measly 36%, and Anker's still 1% ahead at 37%. I have to pause and say that these speeds are really disappointing. If Apple had actually allowed full MagSafe speeds, the iPhone 12 would reach this amount in 35 minutes instead of an hour, and with that, it still seems like Apple's 5-watt charging isn't any more efficient than Anker's. After an hour and 30 minutes, Apple's reaches 53%, and after 1 hour and 45 minutes, it's at 57% compared to Anker's 59%, showing that that one is still slightly ahead. And that is where another level of disappointment came, because this is where Apple's MagSafe pack was completely drained, meaning your iPhone 12 will only get 57% extra charge from this $99 pack, and it will take a long time to get there. And of course, with the iPhone 12 Pro Max, it'll be much lower than that. Anker kept going until it reached 87% charge, so we get an additional 30% capacity for an iPhone 12 compared to Apple's pack, and about 52% more usable overall wireless charging capacity. This shows us that although MagSafe might be more efficient in the way that Apple doesn't have to use as large of a battery cell because of the higher voltage, the overall real-world charging efficiency isn't that much better. And if you're only trying to reach 50% charge, Anker's could do that faster, and then at the same time, it can charge while you're doing intensive tasks. With that, how long do these take to charge? Well, Apple's is fairly quick since it accepts 15 real-world watts through its Lightning connector compared to 9.5, and because the battery is smaller. If you're only charging it by itself, it will complete in 1 hour and 15 minutes compared to 3 hours and 15 minutes with Anker. So if you want to quickly charge before going somewhere, Apple definitely takes the win. There's also a few other differences that you have to know about before choosing which one to buy. First off, the MagSafe pack uses a Lightning connector to charge, which can be more convenient if you don't use USB Type-C, but it doesn't come with a cable like Anker's does. Because of this, the only way you can charge a device is by using wireless charging, not wired. And if you're not charging an iPhone 12, just like Apple's $40 MagSafe puck, in regular Qi charging mode, it will only output between 2.5 to 3.3 watts. So if you want to charge a friend's older iPhone or an Android phone, Anker will be able to charge it about twice as fast, and the same thing goes with charging AirPods. It will take about 6 hours to charge AirPods Pro with Apple's pack compared to about 3.5 hours with Anker's. With that, the Lightning port can't output power at all, whereas Anker's USB Type-C port is rated at 10 watts. So if you have a cable with you, your AirPods can charge in 2 hours, or the times that you really care about charging speed and capacity, the Anker pack can be used as a regular power bank and give you a full 100% charge and much faster than wireless charging as well. Of course, most people are not buying these for that. They would just buy a regular power bank, but I have to say that it is nice having the extra flexibility to also be able to bring, for example, an Apple Watch charger or top off other phones or other devices. The last thing that I have to mention is reverse wireless charging, since it's been in the headlines. For me, this feature is practically worthless after I started testing it for a number of reasons. The only benefit that you can get is if you accidentally plug in your phone instead of the pack and you're charging overnight, then you will actually charge it up. But other than that, it's pretty much useless, and I'll cover this in a lot of detail in my full review. Overall, if you don't care about capacity and flexibility, and you don't already have a MagSafe puck or another wireless charger at home that you use for your phone, and you want to have this thing as a base station overnight, or if you really care about branding and long-term reliability and just knowing that you have an Apple device that should be reliable, then I would say you probably would be better off buying Anker's. It is less than half the price, it is not that much heavier and slightly less comfortable but better grip. It can still pass through charge and has a lot more flexibility overall. But you guys let me know which one you would rather buy down in the comment section below. Click that circle above to subscribe, help us reaching 1 million subscribers, that would be amazing. Check out one of those great videos right over there. This has been Max, and I will see you in the next video.